Now, we will continue our discussion about, planning goals and learning outcomes. So within this topic, we've got a subtopic, which is ideology of the curriculum. This topic could appear to be a bit philosophical, since we are going to discuss some abstract notions or philosophies of language teaching and their effect on language curriculum design. I'll try my level best to bring in life into this discussion by giving some examples from my own personal teaching practice. Okay. Well, the ideology of the curriculum is seen in five different through five different lenses, and these perspectives are about academic rationalization and socioeconomic efficiency and learner-centeredness. So the whole discussion here is based on Richard's book, Curriculum Development in Language Teaching. Okay. So we'll see through a critical discussion of these ideologies or ideologies of curriculum have different perspectives, emphasize different viewpoints, and these will help us understand our own ideology of language teaching and overall language curriculum design. Right. We'll begin with the academic socialization, but first it's important to understand the word ideology and its significance for planning goals. If you happen to see, like, for example, our own national curriculum, English language curriculum from grades 1 to 12, you will see, like, it starts with an ideological statement. Then the statement is in the very beginning. In the statement put in the document, it's 2006. Is about, like, teaching English to help learners communicate internationally and also to bridge the gap between rich and poor. So it's sort of seen language role in our national curriculum. I mean, Pakistan National Curriculum of Language Teaching 2006 is seen as a medium of knowledge, okay, and as a medium or means of communication with the world, right? So obviously there are certain needs, learners' needs and social needs, and so this our ideology is basically influenced by our personal beliefs. Personal beliefs is a bit tricky word, and I would like to just explain this term here. Belief is a system, is a set of different tenets or principles. So obviously, as many of you might be doing teaching or want to do teaching, so when we are language practitioner, our language teaching is influenced by our certain beliefs. For example, I've got my own personal belief of learner-centeredness, and I'm more like eclectic sort of teacher who believes in working with learners through collaboration, through pair work, and giving them tasks and helping them make some communicative output, right? So you might be having your own beliefs of language teaching. So these beliefs actually help us determine the role of language for curriculum design, right? We will begin with the academic rationalization, and this was one of the ideologies behind language teaching, and this revolves around certain aspects like it's about creating humanistic value amongst learners, and just to enhance their intellectual level. For example, if you see our bachelor's level English textbooks of short stories and plays and novels or poetry. So the main purpose there is to stretch the intellectual growth of the learners, or enrich them intellectually, right? So by academic rationalization, I mean to say like how for example, literature is seen as something important element to teach language. And if we just see, like, we've got at bachelor's level, we've got literature-based curriculum, which is, language is taught through literature, right? And this is very much prevalent in most of the colonial countries. We've seen like two types of curriculum within academic rationalization. The first one is the traditional one, teaching through literature, and the second one is functional curricula. So the basic educational aim was the assimilation of British culture through the medium of English literature. There was no provision for language work. So academic rationalization, in summary, in brief, emphasizes teaching language through literature and through exposing students to its native culture.